after the hospitals then stopped the embalming process taking place in the hospitals, we found that all our embalming was obviously done either in our own funeral home, or sometimes we still, at that time, had to go to another funeral home, but it was getting less and less because even the trade embalming was starting to fade a bit. The trade embalming is the embalming that we do for other funeral homes, but that was starting to fade a bit because bit by bit people were coming home to work the funeral businesses and they were learning how to do the embalming process. With some of them came here for some of their work experience. And this meant then that the amount of funeral homes that we were doing trade embalming for started to get less because they had sons or daughters who came home and took over the business or got involved in the business, and they took over the embalming side of things, which meant that our trade embalming was disappearing a bit. And of course you had a lot of trade embalmers then who qualified around the country. Whereas I think when I qualified, I think I was just number 17 in the country. But at this stage you had, got I presume, 300 or 400 embalmers, qualified embalmers in the country. So the trade embalming started to disappear bit by bit. We didn't go to hospitals as much, but in that time we still had to go to a hospital. And I remember once I went to Tullamore Hospital one Monday morning and I had an embalming to do, and when I was finished the embalming I remember being quite pleased with myself, and I was packing up my equipment and I could hear banging on the front door. So I ignored it for quite a while, but eventually I said I better go out and have a look and see what's going on here. So when I opened the door, a detective flashed his badge in my face and told me that he was here to see so-and-so, and he called out the name of the person, and he had another detective or person with him. So I said to him, if you come in, I'll see if I can find the person you're looking for. And he said, we have to do a medical exam and it was sudden death. And I said, I understand, and I'll see if I can find a person. And of course my casual attitude didn't go down too well with him. But I went and I helped him and I found the person he was looking for, and I gave him assistance as much as I could to carry out his examination. And as he was leaving the hospital, we struck up a conversation, and he said, he thanked me for my cooperation and my help. And I said, I apologise that you were knocking at the door for such a long time. I explained to him that I was just a funeral director doing an embalming in the premises, and I didn't know whether to answer the door or not. And he immediately apologised for his attitude towards me. And I said to him, we both learned something from that day, that not to take for granted what or who somebody is when you meet them in a particular place. So there was a lot of experiences, different experiences over the years in different hospitals and different funeral homes. And I always look back on them and enjoy them. And it was lovely to see different setups and travel different parts of the country and see different items that helped me with my own funeral home as I went along. Some things I saw that I shouldn't do, and a lot of things I saw that I should do, which everything helps. So the embalming at this stage had kind of narrowed down to people bringing the remains in here into our own funeral home. So we have quite an elaborate embalming room or embalming theatre here in the funeral home. So we were well able to cater, there was no problem there. But as I said, a lot of the funeral homes over the years then, some of their sons or daughters came home, they qualified as embalmers, and some of them studied and worked here for some time. And that meant that the trade embalming eventually started to disappear. So when it got to a certain level, I decided to give it up and not to do it anymore, just to do our own embalming here in our own funeral home. And this I found gave me an awful lot of free time. It changed my world, I suppose, in a way, because I had been very committed to helping out other funeral homes and worked sometimes long hours and took up a lot of my days maybe to cater for their needs. So now I found that I had maybe a little more time to concentrate on my own funeral home, my own funeral business, and just carry out my own embalming service.